Hello, art teacher with you here again. We're going right into it with the 2-point perspective. So be sure to do your subscriptions, your likes, your favorites, all the things down there that YouTube has for us. And let me just get right into it. You're going to need a ruler, a pencil, and a paper. And I'm going to go through this one here on this whiteboard. And here I have an example already drawn up. So, number one, you're going to make your vanishing points. That's what I've just done here. And let me quickly tell you what a vanishing point is. Now, you know, if you stand in the middle of a road, a long straight road, it's a 100-mile long road, and you stand in the middle and you look straight down that road, the two sides of the road look like they get closer and closer together until way down there it looks like the two sides come together in one dot. Well, you know, if you measured from one side of the road to the other and it was 20 feet, then you go 100 miles down the road and measure again, it's still 20 feet. The road doesn't get closer and closer, but it looks like it does as it goes back. And the point where those two sides of the road look like they come together in a dot, that's what the vanishing point is. In this case, we're using two vanishing points, one on either side. So, you're going to start on your paper, and I'm going to go ahead and do this on the paper and on the board. Okay, so I'm doing both. So, start with your paper with a couple dots like that. Then, if you want to, it's nice to get in the little habit of connecting the two dots together so you have what's called the horizon line. That's when you connect the two dots together. And we're going to make our house right on the horizon line, like this. So, got a few different things to get you started with. You got your two dots. Now you need a vertical or an up and down line. So, get your ruler, and a little darker than that horizon line, I went ahead and made an up and down or vertical line, and that's going to be what I call the center line. Now the center line is going to be, now listen to this, it's going to be this one. That's the corner of the house that's closest to you. And because it's closer to you, it's going to appear to be longer. Things that are close to you look bigger, things that are far away look smaller. So even though this corner of the house is 10 feet tall, and this is 10 feet tall, and that's 10 feet tall, even though they're all the same height, this one looks longer because it's closer to you. So that's the corner of the house that's closer to you. So go ahead and make your vertical line like that, and make it about that long. Now, I'm going to draw what I call guidelines from the top and the bottom of that center line. And again, that center line is the corner of the house that's closest to you. And let's go ahead and get all four of these guidelines. Just take a second. It should look something like that. And on your paper that you're doing, as you go along with me here, oh, there's my pencil. I'm going to connect the top and bottom back to those vanishing points. Should just take a second. Now when you do this, here's how I like to do it. I take my pencil and put it on the vanishing point. Then I slide the ruler right up to my pencil tip. Then I'm able to line it up well. That helps. That's a little trick. So take my pencil, put it on the vanishing point, slide the ruler up to that pencil tip, then line it up with the top of that. So I have my center line and my guidelines here. Now I'm going to do what I call the end lines, here and here. They show the end of the house, the far ends of the house. So let me do that big over here. One of my end lines is far away from the center line, and one will be closer. So I have two end lines here, one a little further away from the center line and one a little closer. And here's how it should look on your paper. Again, I put my pencil down where I want to make the line, slide the ruler up next to it, Then I make my line. That's what it should look like when you have it on the paper. So next, what I want to do is think about how I'm going to make this pitched roof, or triangle or pitched roof. Now I need to find the center point between here and here. The way I do that is I make an X kind of lightly, connecting this corner to this corner and this corner to this corner. Let me show you how to do that up here. So, some kids think that looks like a barn. It's really not supposed to. The idea is that that helps me to find the exact center point between these two lines here, between the side of the house and the center line of the house. So now I have this, and I can just go straight up from that center point. Boom. When I go straight up, now I have the apex, or the tippy top, of the roof. So, on your paper, again, I put my pencil down at the top of the center line and lightly make a diagonal. Put my pencil down at the top of the end line, lightly make a diagonal. That's what it should look like on your paper. Then, I go straight up from the middle of that. And that's going to show me where to make the apex, or tippy top, of the roof. Now, all I have to do is go from the top of that line to the center line, and the top of this line to this end line. So, here's what that looks like. Find the tippy top of that line, put your pencil down, slide your ruler up to it. Again, find the tippy top of the line, put your pencil down, slide the ruler up to it, put the other end right there, and zippity-doo-dah, there it goes. Now, you have that. Next thing is, I need to bring the apex back to the opposite vanishing point. It's not going to do you any good to put it to this vanishing point. So you have to think, where's the house, and how do I put the roof over the top of the house? So the house is over here, so obviously that line needs to go over the top of the house. So I take my pencil, put it on the tippy top point, bring the ruler down to it. Other end of the ruler goes to the vanishing point, and I make that nice long line. So it goes straight across. Some kids might want to go like that and then down. That's kind of an intuitive way that's incorrect. Don't do it that way. Make sure it's just one straight line that goes straight across. Now, there's a way to get this line exactly right using some three-point perspective. That's jumping way ahead, so I'm not going to do it that way. Instead, I'll show you some three-point perspective later though. Instead, what I'm going to do is just get this angle, slide it over, and repeat that angle. Some kids like to make this one go straight up and down. No, no, no. Try to repeat that angle over here. Next thing I'd like to do is kind of quickly get some doors and windows. Those aren't that hard to do. Main thing is, put a dot where you want the top of the door and the top of the window to be. Put a dot where you want the bottom of the window to be. Okay? And then just connect those dots back to the vanishing point. Take your pencil, put it on the dot, slide the ruler up to the pencil, and put the other end on the vanishing point. Go straight across from the dot to the vanishing point. Same thing here. Put your pencil on the dot, slide the ruler down, other end on the vanishing point, go across. Now, what I'm going to do is get some verticals. Vertical meaning up and down. You should know that, right? So, there's a vertical line and another. That's going to be the door, so I can get rid of some of these guidelines. There we go. That's how to make the door. Now to make the window, simply connect those two guidelines. You can get rid of some of these extra lines like that. That's the door and the window. So, quick review on this to make sure you've got it. Start by making two dots, which are going to be vanishing points. Then do your center line, which is the corner of the house that's closest to you. Then connect the top and the bottom of that center line back to these vanishing points. Then make your end lines. That shows where the end of the house is. One of them should be close to the center line and one is far away. Then make an X on the short side, go straight up from the middle of the X, and make the roof by connecting the top of the center line and the top of this end line up here, the top of that line. Then bring the top of this line back to the vanishing point, copy this angle over here, and then you have the house. To do the windows, make 2 dots on the center line, bring those back to the vanishing point, and make your verticals. You might want to pause this video at different times in case I'm going too fast. So don't feel bad about hitting pause to catch up with me if you need to. The idea here is mostly I'm using vertical lines and lines that go back to the vanishing points. Other than, of course, I have this pitched roof, which is a little exception. But mostly it's vertical, up and down lines, and vanishing point lines. That's the main thing. Here's where we're heading with it. I've just kind of drawn up this little thing. It kind of gives you an idea. I have houses floating in the air, some stairs, and a little chair here. Everything has up and down or vertical lines or vanishing point lines, except for the pitched roofs. So that gives you an idea of where we're headed. And you should be able to draw something like that if you go through each of these perspective videos. Hey, thank you so much. I really hope you're getting something out of these. Be sure to do your subscriptions and your likes, whatever you like to do. And if you like these videos, try to spread the word and let some other people know about it. Hey, if I'm not clear about anything, please leave a comment and let me know so that I can come in and fix those things. You take care. Bye.